It's Roundtree.
We cannot change the past, but we can change the future. Now, unlike Horton Roundtree, I will not go to Washington to be the tool of just a few rich men. And unlike Horton Roundtree, I will not reroute the new interstate highway away from Silver Shade. Roundtree drain the economic opportunity away from Silver Shade to line the pockets of himself and his rich friends. The highway is the last straw. The future of Silver Shade, of this entire community, depends on it. My wife, Olivia, and I, we grew up here. Our mother and father still own a hardware store. So the fight to save Silver Shade is personal, very personal. The very fact that Walter Reynolds let Olivia marry me ought to be worth something in the election. If he stays in Congress, Horton Roundtree will cut your lifeline.
Vanda, I'm home.
If Silver Shade dies, more than just a town will die. Who we are will die with it. Families, their farms, their homes, their way of life, their history. I will not let Horton Roundtree kill Silver Shade. We have had enough of Horton Roundtree. Vote to take back your future. Yes. Vote to take back your voice. Yes. Vote to keep Horton Roundtree at home.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, Daniel. Daniel. I just spoke with the deputy. Someone slipped into the Roundtree house and cut Amanda's throat.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I sure would hate to lose this election because people feel sorry for Horton Roundtree.
We're so close. After all these years, we are so close.
Oh, listen to you. Even if it's Horton, the man's wife is dead.
Olivia. Olivia. Ah, you're looking beautiful tonight.
Hi, Dad.
As always, huh? Decent speech, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
Evening now.
Look, Amanda Roundtree was murdered in her bed.
That's right down the street from you, Olivia.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not taking any chances.
Well, see to it.
Yes, sir.
That's my little girl you've got there.
Yes, sir. Now, look, I want you to take Olivia home and stay there until I get there.
I need to get down to the drugstore, Daniel. I need to hear what people are saying.
Her safety is much more important than any campaign right now. Please, please.
Must be every cop for 20 miles over at the Roundtree.
Al, you go on down to the drugstore. You have to hear what the people are saying.
Daniel will have my head if I leave you.
No, I'll be all right. With all those guys over there, nothing's gonna happen to me. Go on now. Camille?
I'm in here, Mama.
Hi. Henry in bed? Windows locked?
I checked the doors 3 times and the windows twice, and I put Henry to bed 3 hours ago.
You still can't sleep again, huh? You want me to sit up with you?
Can't help me get used to sleeping alone.
Honey.
There's nothing you can do. And you must be exhausted, campaigning all day. Sleep well, Mama.
Good night, my darling.
Good night.
Henry. I see somebody that's supposed to be in that bed. Hop in there.
There were red lights when Daddy got sick. Is somebody gonna die over there too?
Oh, sweetie, no. Nobody's gonna die. And guess what? Curtis is gonna come see you in the morning. He's gonna work on the porch. So you gonna go sleep now?
Yes, ma'am.
Promise?
Promise.
Got home from the lodge meeting around 10 o'clock as usual. The house was dark. He was listening to her records. Beautiful Dreamer. That was her favorite. Then went upstairs and
Gossett. Please, gentle. Please be gentle. Horton, nothing can hurt her now. Pull yourself together, Horton. You're not helping anything. We have to catch the killer. That's what we have to think about now.
I'll get you an autopsy report in a few days, Sheriff.
She dead. Lord have mercy, she is. I know who did it, Sheriff. I saw it all.
Miss Larrabee, we've been here for 2 hours. It took
It is
you
the
all
middle
this...
of the night, Arnold. Don't mess with me. I got an absolute splitting headache, and I saw everything.
We appreciate you coming over, Miss Larrabee.
Well, that's more like it. I risked my life coming over here. You know, there's a murderer loose out there.
Miss Larrabee, tell us everything.
Hi.
I was trying to be quiet.
I wasn't asleep.
Almost 2 o'clock. Al's already gone.
Not Daniel. It was more important for Al to go down and listen to the talk at the drugstore. I'm fine.
I'd die if anything happened to any of you. If your father didn't kill me first.
Henry was sitting in that window again, Daniel. That's all he's done all summer.
No, it's just watching those sheriff cars. I'd do the same if I was his age.
He misses his father. I don't know what he would have done if Curtis hadn't been painting the house when they moved back home. Oh, now, Daniel. It's just because Curtis is closer to his father's age, that's all.
I'll be all right. I keep telling myself, nobody can replace a grandfather.
Or a father. Or you, for that matter. I love you, you know.
I do. I know.
What, you say there was a lot of police cars out there last night?
Uh-huh.
Curtis. I'm going into town. I'll give you a ride. Oh, okay. Well, help me to gather up my tools there, Henry. Say, Mr. Stewart, you not heard anything about that business last night?
Henry, go inside and get washed up. I don't want to talk about this in front of Henry, you know. He's still not over his father's passing. I don't want to upset him. You know.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering, you know.
You worked for her, didn't you?
Well, I haven't been over there for 6 months. I'd say 6 months for sure, you know. If I had to say.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, front. more burglar alarms, Curtis?
Ellen's just not right in the head. Now, I thought she'd get better with time, you know, but her grandma Boudreaux says she got a bubble in her brain.
Hi, Ellen.
Mrs. Stewart?
Ellen, you look after him now. Can't do without Curtis.
No, sir. I won't let nothing happen to him. I'll keep a lookout.
She's taken to keeping a pistol in her apron pocket. Last month, she nearly shot the light man on account he didn't read the meter on time. It don't take much.
Curtis, you be careful now, you hear me?
I will. Thanks, Mr. Stewart.
Good to see you, Ellen. Woo. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Hot enough ice cream, eh?
Yeah, it's business. Got my vote. You're wasting your breath on Roger. You know he's one of Horton's men. But you heard those people at the counter? People feel sorry for Horton, but they're also looking for a way to get rid of him.
How you men doing?
They're tired of him and his daddy before him in Congress.
Sure to vote now.
The time is right.
Huh?
Sure. I think the Herald's gonna come out for me.
Oh, yeah? So, Al, will we going to Washington?
How about that? No more supporting white politicians in the hope of getting some crumbs. No more making promises somebody else won't keep. Tell the truth, I bet it feels good to take a break from practicing law.
I don't miss it. I've wanted this all my life.
You know Horton's men are waiting for you to make a mistake.
Everybody knows me. There won't be any surprises.
Look at Lester. He made one wrong move and looky there. Not a man left on his side. You worry too much. You can call me from Washington next January. Then maybe I won't worry.
What in the world is going on in this house?
Henry's first day of school. More than one person around here is having a nervous breakdown.
Well, Alice, I have some scrambled eggs and some bacon. And what are the chances that you've made some of those famous biscuits?
Camille, I'm so surprised at you. Have you ever tasted those school lunches?
Mama, they're good and they're hot.
But you don't know who's had their hands on them.
You're being overprotective. He's not made of glass.
Trouble is just fine, Alice, if it's that easier, you know.
I know my grandson is not eating no government-issue food.
Daddy, she's gonna smother him.
Camille, your mama raised you just fine. Alice, how about some coffee?
Yeah, in a minute. Mother, he can't eat that much.
Does he want honey or butter on his biscuits? I'll give him both.
Hey. You excited about getting to school? Oh, don't worry. You're not a friend. You'll learn a lot of interesting things. And if you ask real nice, you might get some of those biscuits.
May I please have a biscuit?
Oh. Here's
How about you,
sweetie.
Jane?
Want some honey?
I know who's important in this house.
Curtis? Sheriff? That's Cradle. I heard you were making one for the Wallaces.
That's right.
Curtis, Mrs. Larrabee, she saw you run away from Roundtree's last night.
That wasn't me, Sheriff. I wasn't there.
Don't make it worse. We don't want to stir Ellen up. Now, put down the knife, Curtis, and show me your hands. That's it. Come on. Walk to the car.
I'll get Mr. Stewart, Ellen. Now, he's gonna fix it. You just stay calm. Stay calm, Ellen.
Watch your head.
You gotta understand, I'm in the middle of this campaign, so I've closed my law practice. But I got this friend in Hammond. Joe Hooks. Fine criminal lawyer. I'll call him.
I'd feel better if it was you. Now, you know people around here. They trust you. I wasn't even there that night, Mr. Stewart.
And Mrs. Larrabee said you were.
No, sir, I wasn't. Now, I didn't do anything. You gotta know that.
Curtis, don't lie. No matter how scared you are, don't lie. Now, I know you didn't kill her. Now, the truth will come out in court. And everything will be just fine.
Curtis wouldn't hurt a fly.
But he said he wasn't there. And he knows that Mrs. Larrabee saw him. Why would he lie to me like that?
It's funny. You think you know a person and then... But you know what? Before he was married, Curtis did have a reputation.
What?
Well, he's handsome, and women talk. And I've heard one or two say that he was quite an artist, and I don't think they were talking about no wood carving, Daniel.
Olivia Reynolds Stewart.
Well, didn't Amanda Roundtree have a wild streak? Maybe they were doing something that he was ashamed of, and maybe that's why he lied.
Oh, no, he's married. To Ellen Gallagher, for heaven's sake. She's crazy enough to kill him, and he knows that, too.
All the more reason to lie, too.
Oh, still, an affair. If there was one. It's not murder.
But, Daniel, desperate people do desperate things. Maybe Curtis had a secret to keep.
You've always helped us before. Why won't you help my Curtis?
I am trying to help Curtis. Now, Joe Hooks is as good a lawyer as there is. Huh?
He's just another lawyer, and he'll say anything to win. See, that's what they'll think. But you, people know you. They trust you. You tell them that Curtis is innocent, they'll believe it. Otherwise, he will go to jail. See, he's black and she was white. Can't you see that?
I have an obligation to the people trying to help you with my campaign. I don't have time for a murder trial.
You don't have time,
No.
and you can't abandon my Curtis. Now, how would you feel if something terrible happened to Mrs. Stewart?
Look, you keep Olivia out of this.
She got real mean, you know.
Come in, Daniel. Come in. How you doing?
Looks like you're spending the usual time and money on your wardrobe, Jack.
I've got an heirloom tomato competition this weekend and these crocus bulbs to sort. A man has got to have his priorities, Daniel. What's up?
That's Curtis Gallagher. I'm not representing him. I just want to know what you think you got.
Well, Roselle Larrabee saw him run off from the murder scene, and he wasn't going for help. Way I figured, they were fooling around. Amanda wanted to call it off on him. Why else does a woman drape a scarf over a lamp and put on a romantic record?
Well, maybe to have an affair, but not to break it off. Hey, maybe she was waiting for her husband.
Blind man could see, Horton bored her still.
Doesn't mean she was fooling around.
The way she had that room ready? Between you and me, I have an idea Horton knew. How could a man not know another man running around his house and then... You know, I know.
Well, maybe she was waiting for somebody, but not Curtis.
And he just happens to show up and Horton's gone?
Yeah.
Come on, Daniel. Curtis lied about being there. He run off. He didn't call the sheriff. He didn't call the neighbors. And we have his fingerprints in the bedroom. And the coroner's report says that Amanda died just about the time Mrs. Larrabee saw Curtis. Came in this morning. As they say, down at Legion Hall, bingo.
Is there anything you can tell me about the work that you did for Mrs. Roundtree?
Well, she had me to carve a fancy mantel for her dining room. And she'd play that music up in her room. one day she come downstairs in her slip. She was so beautiful. And she was sweet to me. I ain't proud of it.
Hey, God, Curtis. How long did this go on?
Not long now. And I felt real bad about it, but she was so, well...
Like, she was just playing this soft music and had these soft lights. She was waiting for somebody.
What you mean, was she waiting for me?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Are you sure?
I'm certain. Because she wasn't going to take no chance on getting caught. Because she told me if Mr. Roundtree ever found out, it was going to cost her a fortune.
And a divorce?
I guess. And when I finished the mantle, she told me not to come around anymore and to keep mum. That was it. I never went in there again.
Until the other night.
Now, she just called me over to fix the back door. I swear. You know, I went over there on account I needed the money. I was late on account of Ellen. But nobody knows that now but me.
Does Ellen know what happened between you and Mrs. Roundtree?
Oh, Lord, no. Now, you know how Ellen is now. She's a cat with a barbed wire tail, and she don't care who she drag it across.
Okay.
Stop it. I told you he had a secret. Rosella Larrabee guessed right.
Well, that Mrs. Larrabee, she never misses a thing. Now, I sat with Mr. Larrabee before he passed away, and if so much as a car door closed in this neighborhood, she knew it. I was almost glad when he finally passed on and I could quit. She got after me once for making pancake batter in the martini shaker.
No.
How was I supposed to know it was a martini shaker? Oh.
Alice, call Henry and Camille into dinner.
Henry? Camille?
Listen. Joel will take good care of him. You have to concentrate on this campaign, Daniel. We've waited such a long time for this chance. And poor Curtis, he'll get out of this somehow. Oh, I just hope Ellen doesn't find out for his sake. Lord, have mercy.
Let us now say our last goodbyes to the dearly departed Amanda before we consign her to her final rest. Jesus has promised us life after death, and through that promise, we need not fear the sting of death.
Looks like he put some large fellas with him.
In his letters to the Corinthians, death has no sting because our sins have been forgiven. Life on earth must end.
Look at Joe Bob. He's about the best actor since John Garfield. Should have seen him carry on the day my father died. It's baloney. It makes him plenty useful for Horton, though. Politically, I mean.
Now each in his own way may say goodbye.
Look at this.
It's a white tulip.
A white tulip.
Who put that there?
Horton. Horton. You have my condolences. You got a lot of nerve showing up here. She's not in the grave yet. Words all over town. You might defend that murderer. I want to show you my respects. Whatever differences you and I may have, I liked Amanda. She was a charitable woman. She did a lot of good for the community. She did a lot for you people, Daniel. Yes, she did. She was a generous woman. God, I loved her. She was the light of my life.
Come on, Horton. We should go.
Well, just tell me why. I mean, why did he kill her? Just tell me why. If I could just understand why, maybe it would get a little easier. I mean, I just had not gone out that night, you know? But you know how that is, how you blame yourself. Ever since your boy got killed.
Horton, let's go.
Could have talked all day and not said that.
What's all this?
Oh, Miss Stewart wanted to try a few new things for Henry's birthday. She's so excited. It's almost like the...
It's okay, Alice.
It was a lovely party, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And the children hunting for lightning bugs, and Miss Stewart so pretty in that yellow dress. Means the world to me to see her so happy again.
Daddy, can I open the presents now? Happy birthday, Daddy. Hey, Daddy, you lit all the candles. Got all six. Open my present first. Can you cut the cake now? Happy birthday, Daddy.
Stop now. You can't go back there. What's that Joe Hook's doing visiting Curtis in jail?
It's okay. Curtis, he needs a full-time lawyer, not a part-time candidate.
Now, I want you to help him. And you know he never killed nobody.
If Curtis goes to trial and is found guilty, this state has the death penalty, and I don't want to take that chance.
And I do? Now, I am trying to protect him the best way I know how. Isn't that what a person does for the ones they love? Yeah, you best take up for him if you want to protect the one you love.
Look, Ellen, you keep Olivia out of this.
It ain't just me. See, I told my grandma Boudreaux about Joe Hooks being to see Curtis. She said Olivia gonna wake up in a new world. Well, you come see my grandma's book, and you'll know. She already in this Mr. Stewart up to her eyes. Only she don't know it. Maybe she never will. But then that's up to you.
Woodrow, what's Sam Hill's going on here? What's this about Livy?
That's the record of every baby I delivered for nearly 60 years. Olivia's in there long about the middle. You can find the date. That's a legal record, good as any hospital record, because they didn't have birth certificates back in these woods then. I testified in court, even got people their inheritances off in that book. Horton Roundtree is Olivia's half-brother.
Walter Reynolds is Olivia's father.
No, sir. Louise's daddy paid me $100 to take her up to Memphis and stay with her until that baby was born. Came back, and Walter was waiting for her. He knew about who the real daddy was, but he loved Louise and claimed Olivia as his own.
Who else knows about this?
Just Louise, me, Walter, now you. All the others is dead.
And Amanda?
Amanda was my friend. I would have told her anything she wanted or needed to know. And I want her killer found. Amanda was a friend to us. She wouldn't be the first person to die because of that.
Curtis is a friend of the family. I want to defend him. All I have to do is establish reasonable doubt. I can do that.
Daniel, I don't even want to discuss it. If you won't listen to me, then you're going to have to listen to Al. He can talk some sense into you. But don't be gone too long, okay? Because Mom and Daddy are coming to dinner, but they can't stay for the debate on the counter. They got to go to a wedding.
I don't understand. Is this some kind of personal grudge thing against Horton?
Oh, you know better than that.
You have speeches scheduled every day, sometimes twice a day. From the Collinsville PTA to the Mount Tabor Baptist Church to the Monday Night Ladies Club in Pleasant Hope. You can't do both. Try a murder case and campaign. Nobody can. I know how much you want to win this election, Daniel. You tell me what's going on. Maybe I can help. If we lose, you don't get a second chance. People will never forget that you let them down. There's been enough of that in Washington already.
We'll try again in 2 years.
Well, I don't think so. You were the one they thought would be different.
Looks like he's been shot out of a cannon. What must be keeping him up all night?
No kidding.
Give me the murders in jail and we can sleep safe in our beds.
Oh, I think you were safe.
But why Horton married a Yankee's beyond me. He could have had a girl from a nice family. But Lord knows the way Amanda came on to other women's husbands and drank at the lodge barbecue. She was wild. And those fights, Lord. More than once I thought he was going to burst a blood vessel. But I do think Horton adored her anyway, poor soul. Don't you?
Speak of the devil.
He certainly seems to be enjoying their sympathy.
And I think Congressman Roundtree should explain to us why he wants to move the new interstate highway away from this county, taking away the jobs.
I've been working in Washington for the last 20 years, so I can't hold my worthy opponent
about the 2,000
responsible
acres
for
that
his
he's got in
inexperience.
Ballard County, next to where the new highway will be, if he gets his way.
He so evidently bears against me.
In this my darkest hour, when my wife is not yet cold in the grave.
I told you taking this murder case would cost you this election.
You're too good. I demand a rematch.
My daddy taught me.
You be proud, son. Hey, you excited about your birthday party?
I don't have any friends here but Curtis.
He'll be back, I promise. Now you have got to give me another chance here. Looks like it's my move.
Mr. Stewart, how are you?
Is this a good time, Mrs. Larrabee?
Well, certainly. Come on in.
Thank you.
There are good neighbors and bad neighbors, and good neighbors watch out for each other. Sugar?
No, thank you.
I knew she was having an affair because I'd hear someone slipping around a backyard Friday nights. But this was the first time I ever actually laid eyes on her.
Are you sure it was Curtis?
Curtis burns my trash. And I saw him together all that time he was working over there on a mantelpiece. Mantelpiece, my Aunt Sally. I know what I saw. That woman never closed her drapes. Oh, I forgot the cookies.
You tell me who else you saw?
Just Horton. He was leaving for his lodge meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Pecan or chocolate chip?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, this is going to be so pretty for Henry's birthday party. And I think I'm going to put candles in little glass jars all around the flower beds.
There's the cake. I'm going to make Lord Baltimore frosting.
Well, Alice, I don't think that frosting's going to hold up. This is muggy even
Papa?
for September.
Papa!
Yeah.
We're back here, Henry. Papa, this is for you.
Henry, where'd you get that?
I was playing in the front, and a man said I should give it to you. And tell Papa to stay away from Curtis. Where is Curtis, anyhow? You said he went away.
Do you know who he was?
It was the fence man.
Libby. Libby. Libby.
Not to mess with that Curtis thing. Now there's some fence man tormenting Henry.
Nothing's gonna happen to Henry. We won't let it.
Like we didn't let it happen to Danny.
son would have been 15 years old now, Daniel. The reason I wanted the white tulips on his little coffin was because that's what I carried in our wedding. And it brought me so much happiness. It brought me so much joy. And I can't feel any happiness now, Daniel. And I wanted to share that with Danny, and now it's happening over. It's happening over again.
It's not going to happen again.
It's happening over again. It's happening again. It's happening again. It's happening again. It's happening again.
Libby! Got to hang on. Libby, please. This better not be you and none of your people. I'm doing what you wanted. Now, I can throw Curtis to the wolves, and I mean now.
I got no need for tulips.
Henry, we're going to ask you to stay away from school for a little while.
And your birthday party will just be a few weeks late.
That man who gave you the tulip, what do you call him, the fence man?
'Cause he used to climb the Roundtree's fence. He did it every Friday. I don't know his name.
Hey, Dad.
Daniel. Gloxinia. Gorgeous flower. Grows from the eyes of a tuber like a common potato. A miracle.
Yep. Tulips in September, that's another miracle, huh? You know what? I think that fence man must have been at Danny's funeral. Otherwise, how would he know what white tulips mean to us?
You can force tulips, if you know how, but it takes weeks. Have some coffee? Did you check out at the greenhouse?
Yeah, not a tulip in the whole town. None to buy. Jack, drop the charges against Curtis. He's innocent.
Well, now, you understand, Daniel, I've got my own political future to consider. Horton Roundtree is not someone I want against me, nor half the community, for that matter. I need this to go to trial.
All the evidence you got is circumstantial. You will lose.
I won't lose. Not with the Honorable Tully P. Finch as judge.
Oh! No. He wouldn't know beans if he had his head in a bag.
Well, now, he may be old and stupid, but he is law and order. And he set the trial date for November 1st. 1 week before the election, and not by accident is my guess. Take some of those tomatoes home with you. I'm drowning in them.
Thanks a lot.
Now, Daniel, don't forget to talk about the jobs they'll lose down at the cannery.
I know.
I cannot believe this turnout. We'll be able to pull the fat out of the fire yet.
Yeah, let's go get us some votes.
All right, you knock them dead.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to know why you took our contributions and took our time handing out your flyers down at the fairground and had us putting up your posters in people's yards. Then you go and hire yourself out as a lawyer again. You said you wouldn't.
You only took that case because he's a black man.
Right. No, that's not true. I took the case because I believe Curtis Gallagher is innocent.
No, you wouldn't have done it for a white man.
Yes, I would.
When people talk about racist, you're the racist.
That's right.
That's what you are. That's right. Don't you forget about it.
It's time to listen up.
Can't forget that. He's the man. He's the one.
I just think I ought to understand how the lodge works.
It is a secret lodge, Mr. Stewart.
It was a murder, Roger. You're still Grand Patron, aren't you? I can subpoena you if I have to. What was Horton's function at the lodge?
He was new member, so he was outside observer.
What's that?
Sat by the door. So he could give the secret handshake, secret knock, people come in. Everybody starts out there.
So he was at that meeting that night?
Sure. Members lose points if they miss a meeting.
Was Joe Bob Haggerty in the lodge?
We're swearing him in Friday. We done? I gotta get the pumping cups over the Methodist by 3 and start the party early for little kids.
Thanks for your help.
Don't know what help it was. Happy Halloween.
Trick or treat.
One for you. Some for you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
You know, sometimes on a summer night I could hear Amanda and Horton. Well, I couldn't actually make out what they were saying. And other times I'd hear her music. I thought she was happy. Now it gives me the creeps. You know Henry's up in that window watching these kids trick or treat.
Well, he could go with them. Olivia, we could stay with him.
I'm not taking him out there in the dark after what happened. I'm scared, Daniel. And he's scared. And Camille is scared. If you cared about us, you'd quit this case.
I can't. Even if I wanted to. It would be unethical for me to withdraw so close to the trial. Besides, Curtis needs me. Olivia.
I please the court. State would like to call Dr. Richard Sharp. What, in your opinion, killed Miss Roundtree, Doctor?
I found an incision laterally, dissecting the pharynx and larynx as well as the hyoid bone, penetrating to the cervical vertebrae.
The way you describe it to a friend, Doctor. Layman's terms?
Yes, sir. Her throat was cut all the way to the backbone. Takes a strong man to make a cut like that.
What else could you deduce, Doctor?
Well, in my opinion, he had to be a man she trusted. Because whoever he was, she let him get right up onto the bed with her. Her body had not been moved from the place where the attack occurred.
Could the murder weapon have been a tool you carve wood with? Like this?
Possibly.
State offers this carving tool, property of Curtis Gallagher.
Was there much blood, Doctor?
There was a tremendous amount of blood. The killer would have been covered with it.
Did you notice any sign of a struggle?
No, the bed linens are hardly disturbed. It's almost as though she welcomed her killer like an old friend.
All right. So the lack of a struggle, that would affect the rate of which rigor mortis would set in, would it, Doctor?
Well, yes, the degree of activity attending the death can affect the onset of rigor mortis.
Tell me, Doctor, what exactly is rigor mortis?
The rigidity of the muscles. That's why a dead body is sometimes called a stiff.
It says in your report that you detected the beginnings of rigor mortis in the victim's body when you examined up the murder scene, right?
Yes.
And since you got there about 11 o'clock, that would mean that she died at about 8 or 9, right?
Right, that's what I put in my report.
Uh-huh. Let's see now. How long does it take for rigor mortis of the small muscles to set in, Doctor?
Classically, 4 hours.
If there had been a struggle.
Less time, maybe even 2-3 hours.
Well, that's what you say here, Doctor. But you said there was no struggle.
Not that I could see.
So the time of death is more likely to be 4 hours before you examine the body. Not 8 or 9 o'clock, but 7 o'clock.
I don't have to agree to that.
Oh, no, Doctor. You don't have to agree. We all heard what you said. No more questions, John.
I was getting ready for bed when I heard running. Well, no honest person runs at night, so I looked out, and there he was.
Can you point him out?
Curtis Gallagher. And he was running like a scared rabbit.
Did you have a martini that night, Mrs. Larrabee?
Well, I never.
Your Honor.
Withdrawn. Tell us what else you saw that night, Mrs. Larrabee.
I saw Horton leave at 6, and that was it. The only other thing I heard was her music playing. Beautiful dreamer. If there was anything or anybody else, I'd have known it because I'm a very light sleeper. That's why I heard that Curtis coming over there every Friday night.
Uh-huh. That's when the arrival of 3 sheriff cars and an ambulance didn't wake you until just before midnight, when you went across the street to tell the sheriff what you had seen?
Can he talk to me like that, Jack?
No further questions, John.
She couldn't hear the Marines invading, not once she's had her pitcher of martinis.
Henry, come here. Got something for you. Henry, climb the trellis. Climb the trellis. Got something for you.
What is it?
Henry! Oh, Henry. Sweetie. Oh, baby. Henry. Oh, Henry.
You, get off my porch.
Olivia said she heard them at night. They were arguing, weren't they?
I don't have to tell you squat. I testified. I'm done.
You heard them. It was hot. It was August. The windows were open. What were they arguing about?
Get off my porch or I'll call the
Mrs.
sheriff.
Larrabee, you want me to put you on the stand again?
It was like cats and dogs all summer. They were headed for a divorce. It's no surprise, is it? She was going to leave him and take half his money and all of his daddy's money.
What did you hear?
Let's just say she got more out of those trips to your people than just a warm feeling. You figure it out.
How's he doing?
He's okay, you know. Little boys get bumps and bruises all the time.
How about you? How you doing?
I want to take him home, Daddy. Back to St. Louis. I think I'd feel safer there.
I'm sorry. More than I could say.
I know you have good reason. You don't have to tell me what it is. You're my daddy. And if you can't believe in your daddy, who can you believe in? We all need that.
May it please the court. The state calls the Honorable Horton Roundtree.
Look at him, Mr. Stewart. Just look at him. I went to my lodge meeting as usual. It was Friday night. I don't know what I'd do without my lodge brothers. I'll always be grateful for Joe Bob for getting me to join.
Congressman, when did you leave to go to your meeting that night?
Left the house about 6 o'clock. Amanda was in the doorway. She kissed me goodnight. She was in her slip and made a comment that Mrs. Larrabee was probably watching. So she waved to her. She had that kind of spunk. I was new, so I had the lowest job. The outside observer. I sat by the door all through the meeting in case anybody came late, but nobody did. After the meeting, I drove home. Music was playing. And I walked up the stairs, and when I got to our bedroom, the door was wide open. I walked in, calling to her. Amanda. Amanda, I said, I'm home. And that's when I saw her. She was lying in bed with her arm out over the side. She was so pale. So pretty. She looked like a statue. And I knew she was dead. I saw the blood dripping.
No further questions.
Mr. Roundtree. Mr. Roundtree. Are you an only child? What? Are you your father's only child?
Oh, yes. What has that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with my wife's death?
Did your father leave a will?
Does she have a will? What has this got to... Jack, why aren't you objecting?
I object, Your Honor. Relevance?
I don't know. I sort of like to know what he's driving at. Answer the question.
No, he didn't leave a will.
See, if it could be proved that your father had another child, then you would have inherited only half of the estate.
Don't you
So
dare!
it would be worth several $1 million to keep any other child your father had a secret.
Well, there was no other child. And there was no other children. There was no other children. Now, are you through?
Yes, I am. For now?
You are a devoted and loving wife, aren't you, Miss Gallagher?
Yes, sir, I am.
And your husband is your sole support. If he went to prison, you'd be in trouble, wouldn't you? So you'd say anything to keep him out of prison.
No, that's not true.
Well, these are old clothes, Miss Gallagher. They have been washed many times. Or they may not be the same clothes at all.
They're the same. They had no blood on him.
Why should we believe you, Miss Gallagher? Your husband is on trial for murder. We're supposed to believe you just because you said so. Haven't you had emotional problems in the last couple of years? Maybe you don't know the truth.
He's harassing the witness, Your Honor.
I thought it was a legitimate observation, Mr. Stewart. Move on.
You knew that he'd had an affair with Amanda Roundtree.
Jack! Improper question.
On the contrary, Your Honor, I think this is a highly relevant question, and I wish the witness to be compelled to answer it.
The witness will answer the question.
It's not true. None of it's true.
Come on. Come on now, Miss Gallagher. How can you be sure you'd even know the truth?
These are his clothes.
Of course they are. They just are not the ones he wore the night he murdered Amanda Roundtree.
That's enough.
Object, Your Honor.
All right, we'll clear this courtroom. Order! That's enough. All right, I'm going to clear this courtroom. Order!
I know he killed her. The only way he could have done that is if he left that lodge meeting. I don't know how to prove that.
You know what, Daniel? I don't care where he went or how or why. Camille's upstairs packing to take Henry to St. Louis because she thinks that's where he'll be safe. That's what I care about.
Oh, they'll be back. Once this is over, everything will be okay.
No, it won't. Her in-laws want to keep them. She's not coming back.
You gotta promise to come back when this is over.
I'd like to, Daddy, but I can't keep moving Henry around. Now that Curtis is gone.
Is Curtis dead?
No. No, honey, no, he's not dead.
Henry, we wouldn't lie to you. You know that, don't you?
Jail or no jail, he needs to see Curtis once before we go. Daddy, he never got another chance to see his father. He was gone before we could get to the hospital.
Gone before you can get there.
Mr. Stewart.
Good morning, Roger.
What are you doing up before dawn?
Oh, I've been up all night. Somebody missed that meeting that night, didn't they, Roger?
No.
Somebody came late to that lodge meeting and couldn't get in because Horton wasn't there the whole time, right?
How would I know if Horton wasn't there? The outside observer's just that. He sits outside the door. I wouldn't know if someone tried to get in and couldn't.
Yes, you would. You told me yourself that you lose points for missing meetings. You want me to subpoena the lodge records?
Frank Winstead.
I don't want Henry to see me like this.
He needs to see you before he leaves. But I won't bring him if you don't want me to.
If you think it'll help him, it's fine.
Things will be better this afternoon. I promise. So, on that Friday night, the night of the murder, you attempted to go to the lodge meeting, but you didn't get in because Mr. Roundtree wasn't there to let you in. Is that right?
I never said anything of the kind.
Permission to treat this witness as hostile, Your Honor.
Why?
Because he's lying. And he also works for Mr. Roundtree's feed business.
Counsel is testifying, Your Honor.
Well, now, I really don't know. Frank, you swore an oath to tell the truth, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did.
I don't think he's hostile, Mr. Stewart. He swore to tell the truth. Besides, I really don't see what this has to do with whether or not your client is guilty.
Well, it has everything to do with it, Your Honor. Because Mr. Roundtree himself is also lying. He went to that lodge meeting. He left early. And he went home and he killed his wife.
This is an outrage, Your Honor. An absolute outrage. The last gasp of a desperate defense. I want to strike it from the record.
So ordered.
Mrs. Roundtree asked me to come by and fix her screen door. She left it open for me. I was supposed to come by in the afternoon, but I was late, that's all. But she's not here to tell nobody that.
Why'd you go inside?
I could hear her music playing, and so I called to her, and she didn't answer, so I got worried. I come up the stairs, and went in the room. I knew she was dead.
Why didn't you call for help?
I was scared I'd be blamed, so I ran. I didn't even think about Miss Larrabee's window sitting there. You know, I should have known she'd see me if I went out that gate.
Your witness?
You lied about being there until you found out you had been seen.
I did not
and your
lie,
wife
sir.
lied under oath to save you.
Now you're
Why
twisting
should
my
we
words.
believe you? Why should we believe a word you say?
Because it's the truth. Now, I ran because I was scared.
I'll bet you were. You were there in that room, alone, with that body, and there was no one else to blame it on. Oh, yes. I'm sure you were scared.
I thought you had this trial won for a day or so. I'm over that now.
On a cheerier note, have you been to the drugstore? How are things in the grapevine?
Who told you that was a cheerier note?
He's right in that cell over there.
Hey, Curtis.
Hey there, Henry.
Can Curtis come out here with me?
Here you go, Curtis.
This is why you couldn't visit me.
When I wanted to, Henry. I wanted to visit you.
How'd you get that cut?
I tried to climb the trellis, and it fell on me. I saw stars like in the cartoon. I never knew you could really do that. Are you scared being in jail?
Will a man be fool not to be scared?
Are you in here because of the night all the police cars were in the street?
Now, Henry, I didn't do anything. I want you to know that.
Are the other two men who went to see Miss Roundtree? Are they in here too?
Other men. Besides Mr. Roundtree?
The fence man. He was there too.
Tell me what you told me and Curtis about Mr. Roundtree's coming and going.
Well, the first time he left, he went out the front door and waved goodbye great big to Mrs. Roundtree.
And when he came out the second time, he was in a rush, you said.
Rushing from his car?
I didn't see his car.
It wasn't in the driveway.
He went through the back porch and he had something in his hands.
And then when he went over to Mrs. Larrabee's backyard, he came back with nothing in his hands, right?
Yes, sir.
Olivia? This proves that he wasn't dead. Now, Henry has got to testify. I need it, and Curtis really needs it.
No, Daniel. We can't put Henry through testifying. You know what that's like for a frightened little boy who expects us to protect him?
Olivia, if we don't let Henry take that stand, we can be responsible for Curtis going to his death for a crime he did not commit. Olivia, are you listening to me?
Please don't do this to me, Daniel. Please. We can't use Henry to clean up the mess that these adults made. That's what happened to our son, and it can't happen again.
Olivia, you're wrong. It's different this time.
No. Let the adults pay the price.
I don't know you anymore.
Well, I guess I'm different now. That's what happens when you lose a child.
Olivia, Curtis knows that Henry can help him. We cannot do this to Curtis. We can't.
Then you find some other way to help Curtis, because I care about Henry.
I'll have a man out there in 10 minutes, Dave.
Well, I asked the judge to issue a search warrant, and the sheriff's going to go out there and keep an eye on Mrs. Larrabee's backyard. But Olivia, she won't let Henry testify about what he saw. We lost our little boy, you remember?
Yes, sir.
It was a divorce case. Aurora was her name. Anyway, I was taking her out to get her things, and like a fool, I let Danny tag along, you know. And her husband was waiting for her with a gun. Danny jumped out of the car before I could stop him. And Olivia hasn't been the same since. She says she would never let another child pay for the mistakes that adults make. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Last call for St. Louis. St. Louis.
I love you, baby. Call me as soon as you get to St. Louis. Get on the bus, quick. Go.
Bye, Nana.
Go. Goodbye, baby.
Go, go.
Daniel! Daniel! Look at that. What is that?
Come, Olivia. We've got to talk. Ellen Gallagher's grandmother's got this book. Everybody's in there. Hundreds of babies. When they were born, who their parents were.
I know that. Ida Mae Boudreaux delivered all my mama's children. My daddy still sends her a turkey at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel, what's that got to do with anything?
Well, I went and saw that book at Ellen's, how shall I say, request. And what I saw in that book is, your parents weren't married when you were born.
Not married.
No.
So I'm illegitimate. So what? They must have had a good reason, and they did get married, and they've been married ever since, so... Fine, I'm illegitimate.
Ellen Gallagher used that book to threaten you.
Threaten me with that? I'm surprised at you. I'm not such a shrinking violet. I don't care if she shouts it from the rooftop.
There's another reason. A more important one. One that I tried to protect you from.
What? What could be so bad?
I can't think of a good way to say this.
Well, just say it.
Walter Reynolds is not your father. Ross Roundtree is your father.
Ross Roundtree, Horton's father? Are you crazy?
Horton Roundtree is your half-brother. Amanda found this out from Mrs. Boudreaux, and she was going to use it against Horton in the divorce or the campaign. And that's why he killed her. Curtis told Ellen Gallagher that you wouldn't let Henry testify. And I guess that's all she needed.
Well, she sold you a bill of goods. I have my daddy's hands. I have Walter Reynolds' hands.
You don't. I'll ask you one.
That's not true. And damn you for saying it is.
Livy.
Ross Roundtree, Mama.
I never knew anything like what his money could buy.
Including you.
Don't talk to your mother that way, Olivia. I was a smart girl. And pretty. Like you. And I would have done anything to get out of Silver Shade. There weren't that many chances until he came along. He was middle-aged, rich, and bored with his life. And I was young and stupid. He took me to Havana. People could go there then, even if you were black and he was white. And it was famous and stylish and rich and wild. He never answered any of my letters. I went to his house, and he told me he'd have me arrested if I ever came near him again. My parents wanted me to give you away, but I couldn't. I loved you.
What about Daddy?
I knew he would always own a hardware store in Silver Shade, and that would be my life. But he's always loved you, Olivia, and me. He claimed you as his own, and he has always loved you. I'm sorry, Olivia. It's the only lie I've ever told you. But I would tell it again.
Mr. Stewart! Miss Stewart's home.
You can't unring the bell, Olivia. But you can help me save an innocent man. Henry can be back in 4 hours. Are you sure that it was after 7 o'clock when you saw Mr. Roundtree come out of the house the second time?
Yes, sir. We always eat dinner at 6. And then I watch cartoons. And then I go up to my room. Because there's nobody to play with on our street. And I don't know anybody. And cartoons had just ended when I saw him run into the house. And then when he came out, he had on a different suit.
How do you know that?
He had his old suit under his arm. And he went over to Mrs. Larrabee's backyard and came back without it.
Your Honor! Your Honor, I would like to suggest that you dispatch the appropriate authorities to Mrs. Larrabee's backyard.
They could have planted evidence.
Well, I know you're not trying to accuse me, Jack. He's been in jail for the last 2 months.
Order.
You can't look in there. Curtis hasn't been around to burn the trash. I don't usually let it go like that.
God almighty. You don't carve cradles with that. Is this what you saw, Henry?
Yes, sir.
As the jury can plainly see, the label reads, custom tailored for Horton Roundtree. I'm sorry to have to ask you, Mrs. Reynolds, but we have to understand why things happen.
My daughter, Olivia, is the child of Ross Roundtree III. She is Horton Roundtree's half-sister as a result of a trip I made with Ross Roundtree when I was 18 years old.
I suggest to you that it was not Curtis Gallagher, but Horton Roundtree who murdered his wife. See, he knew that Mrs. Larrabee could not see the back, but what he did not count on was a lonely little boy in a third-story window who had a full view of the backyard. And, of course, Frank Winstead coming late to the lodge meeting. Horton Roundtree had a secret. He has a half-sister, the only other child that his father had. A black woman. Fine, upstanding black woman. My wife.
That's absurd.
Sit down, Horton, before I have you removed.
I've had about enough of this. All these lies.
He is entitled to have a theory of the case. Sit down before I hold you in contempt.
Horton Roundtree had a plan. He was going to come home, find the murdered wife, and play the bereaved husband. As the coroner reluctantly testified, Amanda Roundtree was dead at least an hour before Curtis Gallagher ever entered the house.
How long you reckon the jury will be out, Daniel?
Oh, I gave up predicting juries a long time ago, Arnold. Can't be done. Scissors.
Hey, Papa.
Yeah.
If you win the election, can I go to Washington with you?
Oh, I thought you wanted to go to St. Louis.
I want to stay with you.
You do? All right.
Daniel.
You out here? Hey. How'd it go?
Came close. Real close. The whole county could have been in that courtroom. We'd have won.
I'm sorry, Al. Next time, next candidate, things will be easier for you.
It might not be over yet, Daniel.
Horton won the election.
Well, if the jury acquits Curtis and Horton is charged, they'll have to arrange a special election to fill his unexpired term. It's not a sure thing, but it would be the next step. And we did come close. You might still have a chance.
We
you, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Curtis Gallagher, not guilty. The defendant is free to go. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you. You are dismissed.
I should tell Henry about the Rowntrees.
I don't see any reason to hide the truth. The world is changing, right? At least that's what your father and I hope.
Now, can anyone tell me, why would Horton go after poor Curtis like that?
Curtis was just at the right place at the wrong time. Horton thought that if anybody got caught, it would be his wife's lover, and he would have liked that. And to this day, he sure would like to know who that was.
Oh, I still would like to know. Who was Amanda carrying on with?
She took her secret to the grave, I guess.
Well, what kind of secret is that? Rosella Larrabee won't leave me alone. Oh, Lordy, look at the time. We got people coming.
Henry. Okay, Mama? What if nobody comes? Look over your shoulder.
Olivia.
Daddy.
Don't you forget it.
Excuse me. Miss Olivia. Miss Olivia, I just want to say I'm sorry. Ellen, she's got bubble in her brain. And I'm sorry for what she done.
It's all right, Curtis. Just give me a chance to see who my real friends are.
Daniel.
Yeah?
Can you come out here a minute?
Did you arrest Horton yet?
Yeah. And I was poking around his house. I saw a pot of blooming daffodils. And here it is November, so I decided to take a look in his basement. This is a tulip. You keep it cold and dark for a while, it'll bloom any time you want it to. Amanda must have learned that up north in that short growing season they have up there. And looky here.
White. So that's where the fence man got him. He didn't want me defending Curtis, who he thought really killed Amanda. The irony is, he was protecting the real killer.
And based on what your Henry said, he must have found the body later, too. Decided to keep it quiet, keep his own secret.
Thanks.
You helped him catch that killer. I heard you saw him go in the house and everything. Were you scared when you ran me in front of all them people? Nah, it was nothing. Want to see my rabbit's foot? Wow, look at that cake.
I think we got that friendship problem solved. And you might have a friend or two left yourself.
Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything you went through and had to give up to protect me.
Love you. That's all that matters. Although you might now be a wealthy woman. It wouldn't hurt.
Oh, now, Daniel, you know I don't want the old dirty money.
Oh, you want to know who the fence man is? I think I know.
No! No. I want to forget the fence man. Matter of fact, one day, Henry will be playing with his new friends. He'll see him. He'll recognize him. He'll tell me. That's what I need to know.
So you think it's that easy to spot a lover, do you?
Yeah. I think.
Gone are the cares of